Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. So day 10 will take us to around the 13th of December. We'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extend GFS and ECM ensembles. They run to around a couple of weeks. We're going to have a look at CFSV2 and Beijing Climate Center at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks and 40 days. So going to be an extended look ahead. And I should get on that for you very shortly. Just to say that we've released European Outlook, so that's looking at weather in detail for the next sort of 10 days across Northern Europe. So yeah, European Outlook has been released. Have a look at that if you'd like to do that. And it's going to be live streaming at 6 o'clock. We're going to have a Snow Watch live stream. And we'll see what the prospects are for snow tonight and tomorrow and into the weekend across the UK. So if you want to know whether you could be in some snow, tune into the live stream at 6 o'clock. And we've got like the latest Chris update penciled in for today, but whether we have time to do it, I don't know. I am pushing a little bit today. So if I can't do Chris update, David, I'll push it forwards through to tomorrow. I'm still going to do the December forecast as well for GavsWeatherVids December forecast. That probably will be on Saturday now. It's such a busy time with so many updates going on that it's very, very difficult to get it all in. So December forecast is going to be a little bit later than normal. This year. We released our winter forecast last night as a premiere. We had over 300, I think it was around 323 concurrent viewers. Thank you so much, everybody, for making it such a wonderful premiere. Absolutely incredible premiere. So thank you so much to all of you. I hope you enjoyed the premiere. The video is on the channel and at GavsWeatherVids going to watch on demand. So you can have if you want to able to attend the premiere last night, then you'll be able to have a watch of it whenever you want on demand. Quite an interesting forecast this year. We're just going to have to see how it goes. I'm going to say thank you so much to our latest channel member. So thank you so much to Matthew Older for becoming a channel member for GavsWeatherVids. It's amazing. It's incredible. Thank you so much, Matthew. We picked up another channel member during the premiere last night. You're going to get a shout out tomorrow. And we're up to 57 channel members now, I think. So thank you so much to all of our channel members. It is incredible. It's incredibly kind. So thank you so much to all channel members and all patrons, all donors. The support that you give to me and to GavsWeatherVids is incredible. And thank you so much to Matthew Older as well for becoming our latest channel member. We're up to 8,440 subscribers, so we're on our way to 8.5k subscribers right now. We are zooming through the 8,000s very, very quickly, aren't we? So I don't know when we're going to get to 9k, but if it carries on moving as it has been over the past few weeks, we'll be getting to 9k. I would have thought in January, maybe, but certainly the subs have moved very, very quickly. So thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing. If you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, please can you give us a sub and make sure to tell your friends to sub as well and your family members. That'd be absolutely great. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, let's start the video then. So we're going to look at the temperature at 10 HPA for the next couple of weeks. First of all, this is from the GFS metrosil.fr. So where we've got these blue colours over the Arctic and the North Pole at 10 HPA. These are the cold temperatures in the stratosphere at 10 HPA that we've got at the moment. So as we run through into the coming days, we actually see that GFS's forecast temperature get even colder on our side of the Arctic anyway, going down to around minus 84 to minus 85 there on our side of the North Pole. At the same time, it is warming a little bit over the Siberian and Asian side of the Arctic. But generally a very cold temperature continuing at 10 HPA, certainly for the next week, as we go to extended range with the GFS run. Again, we keep these cold temperatures going on our side of the Arctic. We have got some warming taking place there over on the Siberian and Pacific side of the Arctic, and there's a bit of warming beginning to take place over Spain as well. So as we're running to extended range with this GFS run, we just see that around the edges, the warming is beginning to gather pace a little bit down here through like North Africa, Mediterranean, and extending up into like Siberian over towards the Pacific. Just looks like warming is beginning to gather pace a little bit. And it's not a sudden stratospheric warming. It's like a minor warming, but it could be the start of some interesting developments in the stratosphere over the North Pole as we go further on into December. This is from weatheriscool.com. This is showing the strength of the solar winds. So at the moment, I've got a very, very strong solar wind. In fact, a couple of days ago, it did reach record-breaking strong levels. This is the blue line. The black line shows the solar winds should be, that's like the trend line, shows that solar winds should be strengthening at this time of the year. So as the temperature gets colder at 10 HPA over the North Pole, so the solar wind gets stronger, of course, in the stratosphere, and it's the solar wind that drives the polar vortex. So we have had a very, very strong solar wind just recently with the blue line up here. So that's where we currently are. Let's start filling this in a little bit. And so this is how the GFS ensembles are forecasting solar winds for the next couple of weeks. So generally saying very strong for the next few days, but probably going for a bit of a weakening actually with the solar wind as we go up towards the middle part of December. It looks like solar winds will weaken, although some GFS ensemble members are still very strong with the solar wind. I think most of them are weakening the solar wind off a little bit and sending it back towards near normal levels. So after this very, very strong solar winds that we started this winter with, it does look as though there could be a little bit of a weakening of the solar winds. Let's have a look at the extended range with the CFS then. And it looks like the CFS is picking up on a signal for a reversal of solar winds in January. Probably, almost certainly, following a sudden stratospheric warming. So this is December just here, of course, this box just here. So even as like late December, as soon as late December, there is quite a significant weakening of solar winds being picked up on by the CFS V2, but most of them look like they're going into reversal. All CFS, all four of the CFS members, I should say, going into a reversal, a very significant reversal of solar winds through the early part of January. So this box just here is January. So most of these, or all of these CFS V2 members are sending solar winds into reverse in January. That will be following a sudden stratospheric warming. Now, the CFS does have a bias to make solar winds weaker than they actually are. So at Weather's Call, they have a bias-corrected CFS. Let's have a look at that then. Take away the CFS raw data and put in the bias-correcting. And you can see even there, even with the bias-corrected today, the bias-corrected is still forecasting solar winds to go into reverse during January. So this looks like quite a strong signal from the CFS at late December, early January. Could see a sudden stratospheric warming and a reversal of solar winds. How interesting is that? That will be keeping us on our toes in a couple of weeks' time if it comes off, I'm quite sure. At the moment, you know, it's just long range data, but we'll see. Of course, we'll be keeping a very close eye on the stratosphere and the solar winds and all of that stuff in the coming days and weeks and videos. Right, central temperature is in. It's a little bit late coming in, but CT for November is now in at Hadley, coming out at 8.5, which is 2 degrees above average. So about where I was expecting. We thought that we'd come out around 8.5. You know, it's one of the mildest Novembers on record. Not the mildest. The mildest in 1994 at 10.1. But it's like up there. It's like in there within the top 20 mildest Novembers on record. So yeah, it was a very, very mild November. December started on a much colder note. CT up to the 2nd is standing at 5.1. That's about average. And this is going to drop over the coming few days because, of course, it's quite cold at the moment. It's going to stay pretty cold well into next week. So I would think by sort of this time next week, we can probably expect this to be down into the 3s. I wouldn't totally rule out the chance that we're into the 2s, but certainly we should be into the 3s by this time next week. These are the 500 millibar height line flow charts, Penn State University, for the next week, 10 days. This takes us to around the 13th of December. So we've got the ECMWF on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is now in the absolute high pressure, low pressure, being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extra high pressure, blues low pressure. ECM looks very unsettled in the 7 to 10 day time frame, or the 8 to 10 day time frame. We have a deep area of low pressure over top of the country. There's blocking in the northern latitudes and blocking over towards Greenland and the Canadian Arctic, and also from Siberia or from Russia into Scandinavia. That's forcing the jet stream south. So fundamentally, even in like 7 to 10 days time, we're still in quite a cool to relatively cold and unsettled scenario. This is the Azores high just here. This is trying to push up milder air from the southwest, but up to like a week out anyway, it does look as though things are staying quite chilly and quite unsettled. The GFS is similar, but it is a little bit further northwards with that low pressure, and it's just a little bit flatter. So the GFS is the GFS, of course. GFS has a low pressure again to our west, but just a little bit further northwards, not quite on that northwest southeast alignment with the ridge, just a little bit closer to the Azores. So the GFS, altitude GFS is the minor the option. It does still have the high pressure to the northeast though, up here. So we'll see. Remember, when you go into a block pattern, these models will always try and break us out of it quickly and revert us to the default setup. The default setup is westerly, but often they are too quick in getting rid of blocking. So we're just going to wait and see how this plays out, I think. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're going at Lincoln today. So red lines are 30-year upper air temperature average for Lincoln. You can see that for the next week, probably the next 10 days, we are generally below average. We're not talking about severely cold, but we're talking about very cool to chilly and at times cold enough for some wintry conditions in some areas. And that takes us up to around day 10, 13th of December. Beyond that, into second half of December, there's a bit of a warming trend today. The GFS and some members are getting milder into the third week of December. Not all of them. There's still some down here that are going for quite cold weather, but the majority of GFS on some members are going milder into the third week of December. But again, keep in mind that these models will always be very keen, to say the least, to revert us back to the default. The default is westerly. The default is southwesterly with low pressure around Iceland, high pressure around the Azores, and our prevailing west to southwest winds. That is the default North Atlantic / Northern European setup. And they will always try to eradicate blocking and get us back to that. Sometimes blocking does go very quickly, but more often than not, it actually takes long for blocking to go than the models predict. And so again, at this in these sort of patterns at this time of year, the reliable time frame reduces. So the reliable time frame is probably no more at the moment, given the web patterns. I would say the reliable time frame is probably no more than around 4 to 5 days at the moment. And even like days sort of 6, 7, 8, which can be reliable when you're zonal. At this point of this weather pattern, I would say that sort of time frame, days 6, 7, 8, is actually really quite unreliable. Anything beyond that is very, very speculative and really unreliable indeed. As I say, when you're in a zonal westerly default zonal setup, then the reliable time frame can extend to like 10 days in the winter, and sometimes even 2 weeks out. You know, the GFS will be relatively stable and reliable when it's zonal and westerly, as we had last winter, for example. But this year, with the web patterns we've got at the moment, I think the reliable time frame is a lot lower. It's going to be precipitation as well. So yeah, got plenty of precipitation spikes just there during this period where it's quite cold, so obviously that raises the prospect of either cold rain or sleet, maybe some snow. We'll discuss that on Snow Watch later. Probably going a little bit drier later next week, and then the rain comes back as we go into that possibly milder third week of December. Temperature anomalies on the 30th 11th of December are going to be colder than average, not just the UK, but through most parts of Western Europe. Precipitation anomalies from the 3rd to the 11th of December are going to be average to a little bit wetter than average. This is the latest wind flow map from earthnoilschool.net showing that we are under a cyclonic area of low pressure and we're pulling in cold air from the north. So you can see that the air is pushing down from the north right now, and we're under this area of low pressure, so it is unsettled, yes, and it has also turned a lot colder. This is how the UK Met Office is looking for Sunday, with a trough of low pressure across western parts of Europe, with jet stream being forced southwards. We are on the cold side of jet stream, so it will be a chilly weekend indeed. The next area of low pressure tries to come in from off the Atlantic through the early part of next week, but it's struggling, and it is on a southerly track and sort of stalling, leaving certainly the northern half of the country quite cold through the early part of next week. And as this low pressure comes in from the Atlantic further south, it could bring rain, it could bring something a little bit more wintry. We finish up looking like that, which as far as we go for UK Met Wednesday the 9th of December, and we're in a trough of low pressure, still looking pretty cold and pretty unsettled up to that point. GFS 6Z looks like this. So again, trough of low pressure across Western Europe as we go from through Sunday. So yeah, it looks quite unsettled and pretty chilly too. Next low tries to come in from the Atlantic, but sort of dives southeast, so that keeps most parts of the country quite cold through the early part of next week. Bit of a reach there around middle of next week, probably turning drier, but would be cold and frosty. We're raising the heights over Scandinavia, you'll notice, as we go into the second half of next week. So again, we've got these areas of low pressure trying to push in from off the Atlantic, but they are coming up against this area of high pressure over Scandinavia, which is actually connected to the Siberian high, sitting across western parts of Russia. And so that's all forcing a jet stream in these areas of low pressure southwards. So that keeps us cold, although the isobars are sort of coming in from a south-southeasterly direction. The air mass is actually quite cold because we're on the cold side of the jet. Well, certainly a chilly air mass, let's put it that way. Moving up towards day 10, so then we begin to get a more vigorous area of low pressure, an attack from the Atlantic with this low just here. And that does send us then into what looks like a rather milder, but still unsettled pattern through the middle part of the month. So we're going into a third week of December now, where the GFS ensembles are predicting that the Westerlies do sort of come back and things get milder. So that's how we finish up with this GFS run today. High pressure, and it's for the 9th of December. High pressure is like around Bay of Biscay. So bringing up like a milder west-southwesterly. We do still have indications of some some blocking up here, though. This is still not a typical sort of zonal westerly setup. And as I say, I'd be very dubious about these more extended range charts at the moment. GEM looks like that. So again, Western Europe looks cold and unsettled as we go into the early part of next week. This next low tries to push in off the Atlantic, but really struggles and sort of just stalls and then slips southwards into France through the early part of next week. Then we're trying to raise the heights over Scandinavia as this low pressure comes in from off the Atlantic. This one does bring some rather milder air with it, though, as going to the end of next week. And that's how it looks as we get to day 10. Again, looks like we're going to try and push some milder air up from the southwest by day 10. But we do still have the high pressure, you see. Still have the high pressure ridging into Scandinavia. So this is still a battle that's going on here for ascendancy between the low pressure in the Atlantic and the high pressure over Scandinavia. They're still fighting it out even up to day 10. And then the ECM looks like that. So again, cool to cold and unsettled through the weekend. Next week, this low pressure sort of dives southeast, tries to come in from the Atlantic, but sort of dives southwards into France. And then we go on into like the second half of next week. The next low's coming in from off the Atlantic. That's struggling as it comes in from the west, but eventually it starts to push through and probably bring some, whoops, don't want to go there, we want to go back there, probably start to bring some milder air back in from off the Atlantic. But even at today 10, it is not a classic sort of westerly settlement, although it might be a little bit milder by day 10. It's not a classic sort of zonal setup. This is a precipitation type forecast based on that ECM run from Tibetio.com. A lot of rain around today. Something could turn wintry overnight across the northern parts of the country, and then another push of rain coming into the southeast in the early hours and through to tomorrow morning brings potentially heavy rain to parts of southeast England. There is a suggestion there of a little bit of snow in the southeast. I don't think the Met Office are overly interested in this, but we'll discuss it more on Snow Watch tonight. Meanwhile, Scotland and down to Northern England, that's where we've got a real snow event going on, so there could be a lot of snow actually across the eastern parts of Scotland tonight. The ECM then takes snow up the eastern side of the country tomorrow morning. Again, the UK Met Office are not particularly interested in this. There's no warnings out for this, so I don't think they're taking the ECM particularly seriously, but we'll go through the high-res models anyway on Snow Watch this evening and see whether any other models are going for this. But the ECM is certainly going for light snow tomorrow morning in the east. And then that sort of pushes across the Midlands into Wales into tomorrow afternoon, turning more and more to rain as the day goes on. Then we move on into the weekend and things start to turn largely drier through the weekend into next week. Will be cold though, there'll be frost and fog over the weekend. Quite a bit of dry weather actually coming up through the early and middle part of next week. Then later next week, we start to bring that weather system in off the Atlantic. As that comes in, again, that turns to snow. So snow event there on the 11th of December across virtually the whole of the country. Before turning back to rain as milder air begins to tuck back in from off the Atlantic, and yeah, that's the end of the snow up to that point, which gets us to the 13th of December. These are the options on the table. Of course, we'll talk much more about that Snow Watch live from 6 o'clock. These are the options on the table. With the ECM on Summers today for day 10 gets to the 22nd of... No, that's wrong. So what we've done there, we've got to flip this over. That's March. What have I done there? So I'm going to go to 1203. That's the right one. Right, sorry about that, everyone. Right, these are the options on the table. Within the East Summer today, for day 10 gets to the 13th of December. We have 31 members of the ECM ensembles breaking low pressure through, but still with like high pressure in the northern latitudes. So this includes the control and the operational jet streams moving northwards. That's a milder option. 20 have a Scandinavian high, and winds coming in from the east. That will still be cold and blocked. 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets to the 18th of December. We've got 28 members of the ECM ensembles with Mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland. So that's going to be quite cold, potentially bringing the wind from the north. And then we have 23 with still a Scandinavian high and suggestion of easy winds. So, I mean, in 2 weeks' time, the ECM ensembles actually look cold, really, on both options. Beijing climate centre looks like this. So these are 500 of our heights bring down to week periods, to 10-year periods, I should say. First 10-year period takes us from the 1st to the 10th of December. We have above average heights over and to the west of the country. Jet streams lining up northwest, southeast. That looks like it'll be quite cold in the coming 10 days. The next 10-day period will be the 11th to the 20th of December. High pressure sits over to the east of the country, probably bringing in like an easterly type wind. So that one looks quite cold as well. Next 10-day period will be the 21st to the 30th of December. High pressure slips southwards, probably trying to introduce something a bit milder from off the Atlantic. And then the final 10-day period is 31st of December to the 9th of January, turning more and south and potentially colder again as the jet stream returns to a northwest southeast alignment. CFSV2 looks like this. These are 500 of our heights bring down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 3rd to the 9th of December. The coming week is cold with low pressure to our south, high pressure in the middle of the North Atlantic and over Scandinavia. We're on the cold side of jet stream, so looking cold and unsettled in the week ahead. Week 2 is going to be the 11th to the 16th of December, with trough low pressure extending down through Western Europe, ridge pulled out into the middle of the Atlantic. So unsettled and probably still quite chilly there, really, in week 2. Week 3 looks a bit more westerly. This is the 17th, 23rd of December. Low pressure is to our north and northwest. High pressures in the middle of the Atlantic. So we're reverting to like a westerly wind, but still the northwest southeast alignment to the jet stream. So certainly even that could be quite chilly up in the north. And then go through to week 4, which is going to be the 24th to the 30th of December through Christmas week. Low pressure is over to west of the country. High pressure pulling further away from us in towards Newfoundland and that sort of area, which you will think is probably going to send the jet stream back on a northwest southeast alignment and might even start pulling down some colder air from the north again, possibly there. Unsettled and chilly maybe over Christmas. If you enjoyed this video, please can you click like, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids, get them to subscribe as well, and let us know what you think in the comments about all of this. And if you sub, you'll be able to see future weather content. Right, we're going to be back after 6 o'clock, or at 6 o'clock, with our Snow Watch live stream, first one of winter. So, yeah, I'll have a look at snow prospects from 6 o'clock. There may be a Christmas update, but I am pushing it to get that in. So if I can't do that today, then I shall push it forward to tomorrow. For this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.